All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the man who taught me this truth. I would like to say shalom to you, Akim, and you, Akwath, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother, Michael Allah, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Lord willing to edify. Just something quick, And the title of this lesson is Look Up, for our redemption draweth nigh. Our deliverance is nearer than when we believe, from when we first woke up. And the Lord is doing marvelous things on our behalf, such as bringing these prophecies to pass. And one of the main prophecies that we all look for is the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai, to Lord willing deliver us, from this current, captive situation, you see. And that's a part of the Lord's promises, you see. The Lord promised deliverance. The Lord actually commanded deliverance for Jacob. Let's start off with that. It's Psalms 44 and verse 4. It says, "Thou art my king, O power, command deliverances for Jacob." You're seeing, of course, Jacob, that's talking about, the Israelites, So the Lord has already predestinated deliverances for the Israel of the Most High, you see, which would be what? The elect. The elect was predestinated from the foundations of the earth to receive the favor of the Lord, you see. It's already written. And somebody has to partake in that deliverance. So the fact that the Lord gave us the opportunity to serve him in these last days, that means it's a good chance the Lord wants us to receive that favor. Lord willing, we are that number, you see. But it's all through faith at the end of the day. Because, the Lord didn't call us into this truth for no reason, man. And the Lord didn't give us this faith for no reason, And sometimes you can get in your own head, And sometimes, through this spiritual battle, Satan will play on your mind, Tell you shit like, the Lord ain't gonna save you and shit like that. But that's why this is likened unto a spiritual fight, We fighting for our faith. And what Yahweh Shai said, let no man take thy crown. You see, not even ourselves. But it's really the Lord that allows us to hold fast to that crown that he's given us. So this 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 8, it says, "But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love." Because the Lord said he didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind, you see. And the Lord then he's not just going to give this to just know anybody. The Lord, it's not like the Lord don't know who he gave this truth to, And I remember Elder Aram always used to say, the Lord ain't going to put out no flickering light, you see. And that's just the truth. You see, if you serving the Lord, wholeheartedly, the Lord ain't asking for much. And if he see you doing it, and we look at the people of this world and we see they ain't doing shit, then that's a good chance that, we could be, Lord willing, saved, Not just from America, but being saved from ourselves. You see, seeing we're subject to this flesh, But the Lord is not going to put out no flickering light. And he said that his hands is not shortened, that it can't save. You see? So the Lord knows the position that we in. And Yahweh Shai He wants to save us, man. You know, Lord even tells you that it is, roughly paraphrasing, it is not his pleasure to see us destroyed, roughly paraphrasing, but something to that effect. But let's keep going. It says, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. See, we've been subject to hope, you know, but you would rather be in be given the opportunity to hope for that salvation than to just not receive the salvation at all and not even know or not even have the ability to hope. You know what I'm saying? So even the fact that we able to hope is something precious, you see, because not everybody has their spirit to hope, you know. It says, for the Most High have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. So we are what? Building up each other. Because you go into that word edify, it goes into build. So we're building each other up through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai with the comforter, you know, giving each other what? That encouragement. You see, these encouraging words, you know, and this should be comforting. You know, Yahweh Shai spoke about the comforter, you know. But let's go here. There's Luke 21 and verse 25. And there should be signs in the sun and in the heaven, and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. So yeah, everybody's going to be in the state of perplexity. All these signs that's going on in the earth, everybody is not paying attention to these things that's taking place. Everybody's in a state of perplexity. These people don't really understand and know what's going on, you know? But guess what? We've been given the ability to understand and know what's going on, meaning we understand and know the will of the Lord. It says men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So when the Lord pop up with the chariots, when Yahushua himself manifests himself to the world and people realize and see that the Lord is not an Edomite, but the Lord is a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah, men's hearts is going to fail them. People are going to die of heart attacks when the chariots get here, you know. People are going to die of heart attacks just off of looking at these things, just off of looking at the glory of the Lord, man. You see? It says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud, that chariot, that fathership, with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, this is the point, and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. You see? So the Lord told us to look up. You see, we are constantly looking up in the heavens, constantly looking for chariots, you know. But the Lord told us to look up. See, everybody don't look up. When you just examine these people, when you be out, you know, on your day-to-day or whatever, just examine these people. You know, when you see a chariot, these people they're not even accustomed to looking up, you know. They're not even accustomed to looking up, man. So these people are nowhere near close to being prepared. You know, of course, speaking about the Israelites, are nowhere near close to being prepared, you know, to see the Lord return in such a glorified estate, in a glorified manner.